White a vest in the middle of August? It's September. Damn it. First of all, I am really happy that the quality of the first episode was completely preserved, almost, in the second episode. The jokes hit. Saz was great. The girl from The Office was great. The jokes about the renters, me, were great. This episode was so much Style Stalinsky coded. I'm supposed to call you before I call the police? Yes! Style Stalinsky. If you want to hear about the plot of the second episode, go elsewhere. We're going to start with the suspects. We have the Arconia Westies, the pink eye guy, the Sauce family, the Christmas all the time guy, and the Dudanoff place. Then we have the Coast Westies, people from the West Coast. The brothers, or someone else from the film crew or related to the film. Bakula, which I will insist, always. And we have new suspects, the poker crew. Charles played poker for 7 years with 5 specific guys from the Brazos crew. So far we know about Grip Guy, which is a funny guy, and the guy with the long hair. The big hair. And these are the new suspects. But before we discuss which of the suspects are misdirects or red herrings and which ones are actual possible suspects, let's run through what we know so far that happened for sure, what we can deduce that happened from the current clues we have, and the implications of that. First off, we know that Saz was investigating Charles in some way. She was investigating someone who was after Charles, looking at Charles, or in some way trying to get to Charles. Now, if this was a danger to his life, she would have said something sooner. She wouldn't have spent months or however many weeks she spent investigating this if she knew he was in mortal danger. So what we can deduce from the time Saz took to investigate is that this isn't a danger to his life, this is a danger maybe to his person, to his career, to his reputation, something like that. One of the clues in Saz's apartment was a note that said looking at Charles. Now the trio immediately assumes someone is looking at him through the apartment on the West Tower. They assume someone is stalking him or is after him to kill him. But this isn't necessarily true. Looking at Charles could be anything from investigating him for a journalism piece, it could be someone spying on him just to get information about him, it could mean a whole bunch of things that doesn't involve him being shot from the other apartment. And I know this is counterintuitive because we saw Saz getting shot from that apartment. However, if they wanted to shoot Charles and they've been there for so long, they would have done it already. This is about something else completely. So we can deduce from this that Saz knew that someone was coming after Charles. Possibly someone from his past, because we know from the movie reference from the first episode that this is about revenge. So something must have happened in Charles's past, a past that he shares with Saz, so while they were filming for Brazos, something happened that is a deep dark secret or something like that, and they are coming for him now. I think one important clue about this is the purse that we see on her desk, the Fight Like a Girl purse, which looks like a very old purse. And to me, this indicates that she either found out about something that was happening related to Charles, she maybe found out what this person was doing, she maybe heard something about this and became suspicious, and so she remembered something from her past with Charles on the Brazos show, and she went to get the purse, this very old purse that either reminded her of this person who is after Charles or had some kind of information inside it, and that's why the purse is at the desk. In between the time that Saz started investigating this and the time that she went to New York to talk to Charles, we can deduce a lot of what happened from the notes on her desk. First of all, she canceled the doctor's appointment for the 17th because she was going to be out of town in New York until the 23rd. What we can deduce from this is that she was not expecting to take that trip. If she was planning to take this trip, she wouldn't have booked the doctor's appointment. So this is something that she did in a rush. She probably found out something very important. She knew she had to go to New York to further investigate, so she booked a flight and a trip to New York that was completely unplanned and hence had to cancel the doctor's appointment to the 17th. Now, we see on her plane ticket the name Elga. So she might have gone to New York to see this person named Elga, which could be a person in their shared past between Saz and Charles, could be a person that knows the killer, that knew everyone back then, and maybe the only person who would know information about the killer today. And one other thing we see on Saz's notes is a receipt for an avocado toast with the words 2 notes scribbled on it. Now, what this tells us is that Saz was probably getting an avocado toast when she wrote that down, which means she was not expecting to get that information. She learned about something relevant to Charles's case, and she just wrote it down in the next thing available she had, which was a receipt for a toast. So after having some information maybe related to these 2 notes, maybe also related to the numbers that she was trying to figure out, Saz knows that she has enough information to go to New York to talk to this Elga person about this. So she goes to New York, she talks to Elga, and for some reason, something that Elga told her or that she found out while she was in New York made her finally decide to tell Charles what was going on. We could assume that in this trip to New York, Saz also visited the West Tower of the Arconia and found out about Oh Hello and found out about the combination and the apartment with the pig. However, she wouldn't have been able to come back to LA and have the notes on her desk. So we have to deduce that she found out about the Westies and the West Tower business before her last trip to New York. So this was something that she either found out while she was in LA or a mysterious trip to New York that we didn't see beforehand, but she already knew about the West Tower before she went to New York, which to me says that the West Tower was investigated by Saz and it was a red herring. It led to nothing. So when she went back to New York, in the trip where she died, she saw Elga, she talked to her about whoever this person is that is investigating Charles. She got enough information about maybe their whereabouts, what they're doing and all that stuff, and she went to talk to Charles. But somehow the person who is responsible for all of this found out that Saz was going to tell Charles before she had the chance to. Now, how did they find this out? One possibility is that they were following Saz as well and were eavesdropping when she was talking to Elga. Another possibility is that Elga is a rat and just spilled to this person about Saz, maybe not knowing that this person would actually murder her. Another possibility is that this person was at the party, because last season Saz comes to Charles's apartment and says, I have something to tell you, something very sensitive, and before she can do it, she goes upstairs to get the wine, and this person, if they were at the party, they would have been able to listen into that and would know they had to kill Saz. So I think it's very possible that our suspect was at that last party. So then Saz went upstairs to get the wine, and this was when she was shot. We find out in this episode that she was shot from the Dudanov place because the angle works with where she fell in the kitchen. The window was open, contrary to all the other apartments, and there was a footprint on the windowsill of the window that Saz was shot from. So we know this was the case for this apartment, and we can deduce that the person who shot Charles. So we can deduce that the person who shot Saz shot her from that apartment. And we can also deduce that they knew the combination to get into the apartment. Now, what are the implications of this? This person might live in the apartment, or more likely had lived in the apartment before and either put the lock in there or knew how to get in. And also, this person might have played Oh Hello with their neighbors, or they might even have created the game. Now, what I think the most likely scenario is that these neighbors already had the Oh Hello game, and this person, because they were investigating Charles, they were looking into everything around his life, so they learned about the game, they learned about the room with the pig, and then they took advantage of the room to spy on Charles and shoot Saz. The implication of this is that the Westies probably knew who shot Saz, which I don't think will be the case, because if it were, now that the police knows about her murder, they would interrogate everyone around that place, and they would end up interrogating the Westies, and the Westies would spill the beans on the person they play Oh Hello with, who also knows the combination to the next door apartment. So they would find out the suspect very quickly. So no. So this person who played Ho Hello and found out about the ham and the combination to the next door apartment, this person who is connected to the Westies and somehow also connected to Saz, I think this person could be Elga. And I think Elga is also connected to the murderer. So when the police investigate and they interrogate the Westies, they will find out about Elga, and they will have to interrogate Elga, but somehow this person is going to be MIA. If they are the link between Charles and Saz, if they are the person from their shared past who knows about this person who is after Saz, after they found out that Saz is dead, they're going to be on the run. They're going to be like, no one will find me because I might be connected to this. For sure. So anyway, Saz was shot, and then her body was taken to the furnace chute and incinerated. But the question is, how did the killer get to the East building so quickly? Because we learn in this episode that the direct connection between East and West is closed down. So they would have to go around the block to be able to go in. It would take too long. So how did they do it? Well, I think we also have the clue in episode 2. Surely there must be secret passages between the East and West Tower, and the killer, if they've spent this much time in the building, like spying on Charles and maybe building a case around him or against him, they must know the secret passages. So that's my theory of how they got there. Okay, now we know what happened, we can deduce some of what happened and the implications of it. Let's run through the suspects. The Westies, I think, are a misdirect completely. What I think that apartment is for is to raise pigs, to make ham. I know this is absolutely insane, but I truly think that's what's happening, and this is a red herring because we're getting these clues way too early in the season. So it wouldn't make sense to make any of the Westies the true killer. They're just early suspects. Early suspects are never the ones who did it. Like, come on. So I think that the Good Enough apartment was an apartment that was used by someone in the building who either died or left and the apartment was still there. So I think that everyone in the floor shares the apartment to raise, well, bacon. So it would make sense that the person who is after Charles would have found out about this while investigating Charles and just taken advantage of it. This is what I think happened. The brothers, or anyone related to the film, I think the best clue we have about the brothers is that card on Saz's desk that says the Lesbian Brothers International Golf Tournament, and written on it is Long Game. I think that Saz might have gone to that event or maybe other events related to the film, because we know that the film, or the idea for the film, has been going around for a long time because they have everything pretty much prepared by the time that the trio gets there. So what I think happened is that Saz found out about the film through the grapevine way before the trio found out, and she might have been investigating someone in the film to see if they were the person behind all of this. So they might have gone to the Lesbian Brothers tournament just to talk to them, to investigate the people in the film. And it would make sense that Saz would have done all of this. She would have gone to the Westies, she would have gone to the film crew, she would have investigated everyone that we are investigating. Like, she went through all of that already and she found the person, and I genuinely think it's related to... And, well, we'll talk about it. Then, still in the West Coast, we have Bakula. Listen, I think Bakula is a good suspect. I genuinely do. And I talk about it in my previous video, so go watch that. But if we have any other clues coming to light, I will talk about it. For now, nothing. Just the fact that Saz has been investigating this for a while and that this is done for revenge, so it makes sense. It's someone in Charles's past. And then we have the poker crew. Now, the poker crew are the best suspects so far because we get a major clue in this episode, which is Saz writing with her blood on the floor, "tap in." Now, what does tap in mean? Tap in poker means to put all your money in one bet. And earlier on in the episode, we hear about how Saz got a bunch of dudes together from the crew of Brazos to play poker with Charles just to make him some friends because he didn't have anyone. So these 5 guys, these 5 crew members, are someone in the past, someone in Saz's and Charles's shared past, and they are related to the poker tapping reference. Another thing we can maybe assume or deduce from the tapping reference is, instead of its literal meaning, its significance to the case. Because as we've seen from Saz's desk, she's been investigating several leads, possibly the Westies, possibly the film crew or people related to the film. So maybe what she's saying is, don't bet around on different people who are clearly not viable suspects. Put all your bets in the one person your gut feeling is telling you that it's that person. And I think that person could be Bakula. Let's see what happens, but it's definitely someone in Charles's past. It's definitely someone in Charles's shared past with Saz, and it's definitely someone I think who Elga also knows about. Now, I don't actually think it could be Bakula. I do think it could be Bakula, but just a little bit. But it wouldn't make sense to be Bakula because then the conversation with Elga wouldn't be necessary, I guess. I don't know. Let's see what happens next episode. But these are my theories so far. Now I have only one last question for you. It's something that everyone is forgetting about. What was the noise in Saz's apartment when the trio was there? There was a noise before they found out all the clues in her desk. What was that noise? Thank you for watching. This is me giving you a virtual hug. Anyway, thank you for watching and leave your theories in the comments, please. I live for this stuff. Comments.